welcome to our first new releases chat of the year. I am privileged to bring back two wonderful, talented ladies. So we have Sophie Clarke and Hollie-Anne Clark. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Natasha.
Hello. How are you both doing?
Really well, thanks. How are you?
So far, so good. I think Hollie and I were just speaking. It's morning for me here, but I guess you guys have had most of your day already. So
yeah.
Are you about to power down soon and have some relaxation time, or?
I think I've got a bit of a busy day. So yeah, I think it's just getting started, kind of. Even though
nice.
It's 4 o'clock.
Okay. Well,
I'm
good.
Like that as well. I start at 4 o'clock as well. I'm like, yeah, let's go.
So not so much early birds here.
No.
Oh, it depends, really. I think it depends what I'm up to. If I have to be a night owl, I am. If I have to be a bird, I will be. So
very versatile. Okay. Let's just give a quick couple of shout outs. We have Tuomo joining, who is one of our patrons.
Hello.
Amy. And also Silyi, who's a wonderful singer. And she's supportive to everybody. And she'll be joining us at a concert very soon. So welcome, Silyi.
Hi, Silyi.
All right, ladies. Today we're gathered to discuss your new releases. So Sophie, you kind of hit the year running. You had this beautiful inspirational track, You Needed Me. So can you tell us a little bit about, how you discovered that song and why you decided to cover it?
Yeah, of course. So I hadn't really heard of the song before, and my mum actually mentioned it to me. She was like, there's a song, and she was like, I can't remember what it's called. It's by Anne Murray. It's something like I Need You, or You Wanted Me, or something like this. So I go on the internet and I'm having a Google, and I find it. So is it this one, You Needed Me? She goes, that's the one. And she told me the story behind the song. Originally, Randy Goodrum, who wrote the music, and took it to Anne Murray and was like, I'd love you to record it. And she wasn't really interested. She was like, no, it's okay. Then several years later, she heard it again and she went, no, as my life has progressed, this song is perfect for where I am in my life now and I need to record it. And I thought that was such a lovely story. I recorded it back in the summer and didn't really think much of it. I just recorded it, really thought it was a lovely track. And a couple of weeks later, I think it maybe was only a week later, I was singing in Waterloo Station in London, and a lovely gentleman walks past my age and leaves his number on a piece of paper for me, and he's now my current partner, and it's almost as though song led me to that. And it's I think it just reminds you that everyone deserves unconditional love, and we should always love wholeheartedly and do our best to make others feel loved as well.
Oh, I love that, Sophie. We're going to actually just put up the cover. Oops. Here we go. The cover of your lovely single here. And I think with Valentine's coming up, it's also a great song to stream because, whether you're celebrating with a partner, whether you're celebrating with your girlfriends or, anyone that brings love into your life, it's just a beautiful piece.
Exactly. Unconditional love, whatever that may be, between family, friends, partners, animals, whatever you like. I think it's just good to remind that everyone deserves love in whatever form.
I love that. One more quick shout out here to Peter Snook, who's joining.
Hi, Peter.
And on that point, I'm just interested because, the story that you told, Sophie, I feel like there are songs that definitely suit us at parts of our lives and not at others necessarily. And then they come back and they are meaningful, like you said. So I'm curious, are there any other songs, either for you, Sophie, or for you, Hollie, that have kind of come back into your life?
I've always been a big fan of Disney, and I would say that is something that's stayed with me for a long time. Rather than sort of going and coming back, it's definitely something that has grown with me with age. And I actually still find the songs hit me just as much as they did, 20 years ago or whatever. So and that's obviously what's on my new release as well. But I find, and also I think it reminds me of happy memories and things. So I sort of cling on to those songs.
I'm curious, I feel like with my voice, even a couple months, it has big changes. It feels like I'm working with a new instrument. So for you both, have you kind of experienced that? Because you've been recording and you're in this unique position where you can look back and hear your voice at different points. So I'm curious, maybe even over the past year, different things that you've noticed changing with your voices.
Definitely, I think with recordings, listening back, I think my first single was The Rose, which I released a couple of years ago. And I was starting to get more into singing with the classical crossover sound, and listening to myself now. I think having my classical training here at the Royal Northern, where I'm studying in Manchester, I think having that classical training has really developed my overall sound. I actually, funny enough, found my audition tapes to get into the college. Me and my flatmate were watching our old audition tapes. And we had quite a giggle, and we think, well, we're giggling, but it's a real testament to our lovely teachers and coaches that we have here, and hopefully the hard work we've put in ourselves as well.
I feel like, it's hard to tell because I'm doing online, but just from the clips you post, Sophie, I feel like your voice has gained so much presence over the last couple of years. It's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And Holly, since you were mentioning Disney songs, we might as go right straight to it. So you have a beautiful new EP. I was able to hear a couple previews from it, and it's coming out, I believe, right on Valentine's Day. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's again sort of similar to Sophie. I started recording this last year. Actually came up with the idea in March last year, so it's been about a year in the making. I wanted to do it because, like I was saying, I sort of grew up in the 90s, so I grew up with the 90s animated movies, and I just love all the 90s David Foster vibe, and that kind of music. And I obviously, as I was saying, I love Disney too, and I just thought initially it was going to be Disney covers, and then I thought, well, no, there's too many other good 90s animated movies to do, so I put some others in there as well. And it started being recorded in July, but we actually finished recording the last track in January this year. So it's been a while sort of in the process, but it's been great because I've been working with a pianist friend of mine again, and a violinist too. So I'm looking forward to sharing it, because it's they're all songs that I really love, and I think if you record something that inspires you or it makes you feel happy, then that's going to rub off in the recording when other people listen to it. So
I think this is called Enchanted, right? We have it on the screen now.
Yeah, it's Enchanted because the songs are all magical enchantment and from fantasy, but I like to live in that world of stories and magic and fantasy. So I'm looking forward to sharing it with everyone. I think Enchanted was quite an easy title to come up with. It just it was just there, and I just thought that works, let's go with that, with them. And it kind of links all the songs together, because I didn't want it to be focused on these are Disney songs, because it's a mixture. So it's 5 songs altogether.
Fabulous. So we'll be looking forward to hearing that. And I'm curious, for both of you, who are some of the people you were collaborating with on these recordings?
Do you want to go first, Holly?
Yeah, sure.
So on my EP, we've got Felix, who is my pianist, Felix Werber. He's worked with me on many occasions. He accompanies me in lots of things. Him and I actually met maybe about 7 or 8 years ago when we used to work together doing youth music theatre. and yeah, so he's been a real asset to me. He does a lot of help with the arrangement of the piano parts and things. So it's been great to have Felix on board. I've had a violinist called Ruth Potts. She actually studied with me. Well, she was at the college the same time I was at the Welsh College in Cardiff. But she was obviously first study violin, so she's playing on some of my tracks. And then I've also got a duet with a musical theatre singer, Toby Brewer. Yeah, that's a new collaboration. We've never worked together before, so that's really exciting as well. So yeah, 3 people, and of course the producers, the engineers, those kind of people. But the artists, yeah, they're featured on the EP. So yeah, it's great to work with them.
Brilliant. Sophie?
So for this particular track, I was at the Hope Mill Recording Studios, which is a beautiful studio in Manchester. It's by the Hope Mill Theatre. Anyone who's local to Manchester or ever visits, do go and check out the Hope Mill because they put on some fabulous productions. So I was in the studio there working with a lovely engineer and producer called Thomas Williams, and it was myself, him, and I get most of my tracks made by a lovely orchestrator called Matteo Ressa. His older brother used to be in my class at school, and his older brother was a fantastic mathematician and scientist, and I was best mates with his brother Matteo because we were both music nerds. So he does all my orchestrations, so that's what the team was for this particular track.
And can I ask you both, when you're planning a release, whether it's a single or an EP, it sounds like it was almost 6 or so months in advance. Is that kind of a normal timeline, or do you sometimes just do things on a whim and it ends up being like a month and then it's released?
I think with this one, I'd recorded quite a few different tracks at once, with the idea to release them over the coming months. And then I had Christmas, and I thought, I want to save You Needed Me for after Christmas. I didn't feel like it had a place before Christmas. I said the word Christmas so many times. We're past Christmas.
Okay, always time for Christmas.
But yeah, I released Bring Him Home before that, La Vie en Rose, and I felt that they were a bit more suitable before Christmas. And then I thought to save You Needed Me for after.
And for you, Holly, because you also did a Christmas album that came out, I feel like a week or 2 before Christmas. So you've been busy. So, what was that timeline for you?
Well, Enchanted was supposed to come out before. So I was thinking of doing that in autumn. Usually what I like you're saying about, do you end up just recording something quickly? And then, usually my process in my mind is to do it quite soon, but then life sometimes gets in the way of things, and you think, I need to get on to finishing that, and of course when you're collaborating with people, you're working backwards and forwards, and so that obviously makes the process longer. But yeah, Enchanted was supposed to be an autumn release, but then so myself and another singer, Leighton Rafferty, we've been long time friends here in Wales, but him and I recorded a Christmas album back in 2020 during COVID, just because we wanted to do something. So, and we never released it, and it was just sat on my hard drive. And I said to him, Christmas is coming up, we've got all these songs, so that was actually 3 years previous that we recorded it. So I said to him, let's release it. So then obviously that jumped ahead of putting out Enchanted, and then I thought, well, this can come out in 2024 then, so I delayed that release a little bit. But I've always got ideas on the back burner, and I've always got a list of songs. I'm sure, Sophie, you do as well, sort of thinking, that would be good, and maybe that could work. So there's always another, when you're releasing something, you've always got an intention maybe for something next.
So how do you guys stay organized then? Is it like a bunch of spreadsheets, like you mentioned, lists of songs? How are you kind of capturing those ideas and then seeing that they actually come to fruition?
I've got mine right here. My book.
Oh, I love that.
With me. I think I have it under my pillow. this and many scraps of paper that my mum always scribbles on and myself, and we exchange, and then I put them in the book. It's a bit like if you've seen Devil Wears Prada, where Miranda Pretty says the book. This is the book.
That's
How about
cool.
with you,
Yeah,
Holly?
I to be honest, I do everything. I'm terrible for using my phone. I do everything on my phone, and I've got like notes, you know, on my iPhone of just like every time I think of something, if I hear a song and I think, oh, that could work. Yeah, I just write it down in the notes really, and I sort of make a plan of you know, a list of like songs that could work together as a collection, and then think, oh, maybe they could be an EP or an album, or, you know, sometimes though I'll hear something on television or an advert and I think, oh, that's cool, that could work as, you know, a single. That's what happened with I Am What I Am, you know. So I was just watching TV and I heard that on an advert. So yeah, I think sometimes things just come to you, don't they? And other times you kind of plan for them as well.
And can you guys tell me, I feel like this year has been so many changes. So Spotify announced that, you know, they're not going to pay musicians if they don't get more than 1,000 streams. And then we've heard all these changes that are coming with TikTok where they're pulling music. I feel like as a singer, it can be overwhelming. But when you have your fans, like, what would you say are ways that they can support you? Is it through buying physical copies? Because I think for singles, you don't always have that, but or do you guys have a Patreon? How can your listeners and supporters kind of be there for you in this crazy time of change?
I think as well as listening on Spotify and iTunes and that kind of thing, I think it's really important to not only follow on social media, but to be engaged, perhaps sharing reels or posts about the new releases or concerts or that kind of thing. I think it's just about being engaged, and we really do appreciate when people share things or like or comment. It gives look, it not only shares it with more people, but it, you know, says to us, yes, people do like what we're doing, and it's really, really nice to see that people are enjoying the music.
I think that's important, Holly. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Sophie. I think you know, it's really important for people to just be listening and streaming your music for a start. And obviously, because you're releasing music, you don't want it to just be released and then nobody to hear it, you know, or no one to engage with you. So yeah, that is a big number one really, is just engage with the artist, engage with the music, you know, and if you like it, great, share it with people, and then, you know, there's obviously, you know, you can buy and download the copies or the albums or whatever. But I do think today's world, people just, because music is so available, isn't it, and, you know, you can just click on your phone and open Spotify and there it is. I think it's really, really important that people stream it. And then if the artist is putting on a show or a production, go and watch them. You know, if they say, oh, well, I'm performing here, go and see them, because that, you know, that's then in turn helping to build the artist's profile, and, you know, which is going to sustain that singer or the performer. So yeah, I think that's really important.
There's nothing quite like live music, right? We can do, and I love doing the online concerts, but there is nothing like being in the room and hearing that person.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I mean, you get more of a different experience, don't you, when you listen to people? You know, it's in a recording studio, and everyone knows when you're in the studio, you can stop and go back and do bits again, and, you know, it comes out very clean, polished performance. But when you do something live, you know, there's an energy that's created in the room between you and the audience, and you can't buy that. So that's the magic, really, I think. So yeah, definitely go and see people live.
It's lovely to meet everyone that's listening to us online too. I love it when audience members come up in the interval or at the end and want to, you know, chat, take pictures and stuff. It's just really nice to connect with you all, because we do really appreciate all the support that you give us. It's nice to talk to you in person.
Ladies, we do have a question coming in. So Silly has asked you both, who is your dream duet partner?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it? I should say my friend who I'm singing with in the duo, but if I didn't say him, he would say, oh, yeah. Dream duet partner. You know, To be honest, I would happily enjoy singing with everybody. You know, and it's I think just to share something with different artists is lovely. You know, I've duetted with lots of different artists, and obviously we did that collaboration with myself and Hannah, which was lovely to do. You know, just from meeting through this chat. But I wouldn't say that there's somebody that I would, you know, put above everybody else to say I'd love to sing with that person. I would be happy if anyone approached me and said they want to do a collaboration. Then yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I think I'm the same as you. I think everyone's got something to offer, and something different styles to offer, different styles that they really excel and really love to do. So there's so many people I'd love to work with. Again, I'm really grateful to work with anyone who'd love to sing with me. I think if I had to be really specific though, I'd love to do a piece of Sondheim with someone like Meryl Streep or something like that, or Christine Baranski. But that's just something for a bit of fun, I think.
You know, I feel like when I was younger, I had these long lists of people, but I think the older I get, it's kind of what that specific piece calls for. So who you're imagining, if you have a piece that you really want to sing, and then who would fit, you know, the other role of that. So thank you for that question, Silly. If you have any others, please pop them in the chat. I am curious. I mean, I know we're kind of into February, so New Year's resolutions. I don't know if you guys have done that, but those have kind of been on the books now. But do you guys have anything upcoming that you want to share?
I am about to go and do an opera, so that's fun.
Yes.
I'm going to do Figaro, Marriage Figaro. Doing that in London in 2 weeks' time. And then so I'll be playing Countess, which I've done before with the same company that I sang with previously on Figaro. So I'm going to do that, and then doing it again in the summer as part of a Grindbourne Opera Festival, which is in London again. So that's really cool. But myself and a friend of mine, I was saying, the singer that I did the Christmas album with, we've just launched a new vocal duo. So yeah, we're going to be taking. We just did a performance of Night at the Musicals, which is featured sort of myself with a lot of crossover music and musical theatre, and he was actually in Les Mis years ago, so he was sort of doing all the big Les Mis numbers. Yeah, then I had some songs from my album before, so Defying Gravity, things like this thrown in. So we created a show to sort of take around, and we're going to be touring that as well. So that's really exciting because that was with the live band. So yeah, we're looking forward to doing that.
Awesome.
That sounds so cool. I'll have to if it's on your website, Hollie-Anne, I'll have to have a look and see which ones I can come to.
Oh yeah,
cool.
and that
Yeah,
I think also you're going to Chelmsford, are you? I saw it.
I am. Yes, I will. I am. Yes.
So that's where I'm from. So I was like, oh.
I mean,
yeah.
Oh well. Yeah, I'm doing. So I've got a couple of different things coming up. Whilst we're on Chelmsford, I am a soloist. I tour with London Concertante Orchestra. I do their West End musical show. We perform all over the UK, and I am going to Chelmsford. But if you go on my website, which I believe is going along the bottom, and you can see all the dates. We're up in Scotland, London, and a couple of other venues. I also work with classical guitarist Ravi Nathwani. We've done a few performances for Classical Crossover magazine and a new releases chat. We're in a duo called Cantilena. We're doing quite a lot of concerts. Again, all around the UK and Scotland. Well, Scotland is in the UK. And what else are we doing? We're doing our next one. We're doing a post-concert performance at Bridgewater Hall in Manchester, which we're really excited about. Also, this year, I'm really lucky to be sponsored by the International Gilbert Sullivan Society for my studies here. So I'm doing some concerts for them as well, which I'm looking forward to, and lots more recording. So I'll be sharing more about that on my social media too.
Perfect. Well, as you mentioned, Sophie, the websites are going along the bottom. So we hope that everyone will go out, follow you on all your socials, on Spotify. It's been delightful to chat with you again, and I hope I can prevail upon you for 5 more fun questions, and then we'll let you get on. But okay, I always try to make these quick. Hopefully these actually are quick today. So let's see. The first question is kind of a this or that approach. Do you prefer fiction or nonfiction books?
Fiction.
Oh, it depends on the topic, but I might say non-fiction actually.
Okay. How about for a getaway, beach vacation or kind of a mountain retreat?
Beach. Always beach.
Would you prefer a Netflix binge night in or a movie night out?
I think a movie night out. I think that sounds nice.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Yeah.
As far as living, obviously we travel for singing, but would you prefer to live in the city or in the country?
Always in the city.
City.
Yeah.
And last question, hopefully it applies. Do you guys like playing board games or kind of video or phone games instead?
Oh, board games, 100%.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite board game?
Like
Twister.
Twister. Yeah.
Probably.
I like the game Articulate. I don't know if you've ever played it, where you have to go.
No.
Yeah. It can be a bit brutal though, can't it? Articulate.
Yeah.
I like that one.
And
I would
Monopoly, of
recommend
course.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If you ladies are into Jane Austen, there is this game called Marrying Mr. Darcy, and we get quite a bit of laughs out of that one.
I'll have to look at that.
Well, thank you again. As we mentioned, please stream these wonderful singles. Hollie's album EP, Enchanted, will be out very soon, and you can already find You Needed Me on Spotify. Thank you guys so much for being here for this chat today.
Oh, thank you for having us. Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah. Thank you, Natasha.
And we look forward to connecting again very soon.
Lovely.
Lovely.
Take
Bye,
care.
ladies.
Bye. Bye.